Hi everyone, it's Katrina! From getting blood from a stone to organisms that have been hidden for over 1 billion years, here are 8 surprises discovered in nature that will amaze you. Number 8. Blood from a stone. You may not be able to get blood from an actual stone, as the saying goes, but you can get it from Pyura chilensis, a type of sea creature found on the western coast of South America. At first glance, the sea creature found off the coast of Chile and Peru looks like your average gray stone, but if you cut through its hard, rock-like exterior shell, you will find blood-red organs, skin, and muscles. Even more fascinating is the fact that the Pyura chilensis, a type of sea squirt, does not have any eyes, face, or limbs. It doesn't move and instead spends its time in the ocean, clinging to real rocks and blending in. The creature survives by filtering water, taking in whatever is edible, and then squirting the unneeded water back out again. Although it may not look particularly appetizing, especially when the inner bright red gelatinous-looking tissue is exposed, the Pyura chilensis is considered a delicacy in its native Chile. The creature is fished and sold on long strands or canned and eaten either raw or cooked. It isn't difficult to see how this critter has adapted to life under the sea. The hard shell and spiny exterior similar to mollusks is the perfect camouflage from predators, and perhaps is exactly why this sea creature continues to thrive. Number 7. Devil's Tooth. Imagine going for a leisurely walk only to stumble upon a bright white mushroom covered in crimson droplets. Don't be scared, you've just discovered the devil's tooth. Also known by the name strawberries and cream, the devil's tooth certainly doesn't taste sweet, and is in fact said to have a very bitter taste. It is also different from other fungi that grow spores on feathery gills on the underside of a cap. Instead, this grows its spores on tiny tooth-like structures and secretes the bright red liquid similar to sap when the fungus absorbs extra moisture from the soil in which it grows. They are normally found in late summer and autumn, growing in the woodlands near pine trees, more commonly in the USA, and also in Britain and the European continent. Other names inspired by the bright red globules on the upper surface include bleeding tooth fungus and bile tooth. Usually white or very pale pink, the fungi become a deeper pink and then turn from brown to black when they decay. Although not poisonous, just one look at the devil's tooth might turn you off foraging for food completely. In any case, you still shouldn't go around eating it, and you may want to step lightly the next time you go exploring and spot this curious type of fungus lurking on the forest floor. And now for number 6, but first, be sure to subscribe if you're new here and join the Origins Explained family. Number 6. Psychedelic salt mines of Russia. You don't have to stay above ground to find surprises in nature. In fact, one dazzling display was discovered 650 feet below a Russian city. At first glance, the salt mines of Yekaterinburg look like a tie-dyed t-shirt from the Summer of Love, but the twisting psychedelic patterns are really a remnant of ancient oceans. Millions of years ago, when oceans dried up and receded, they left behind layers of sylvanite deposits. Sylvanite, a potassium-rich sedimentary rock, is usually yellow, red, or blue, but can also sometimes be colorless. The mines stretch for miles in never-ending twisting tunnels that are located several hundred feet below the surface. But don't pull out your glow sticks in hopes of a Technicolor expedition just yet. Getting into the mines is by permit only, and even if you are granted access, the mines are said to contain poisonous gases such as methane. They are also at risk of landslides. With their naturally alternating patterns and vibrant hues, the salt mines show that the beauty of nature can be found anywhere if you look hard or deep enough. Number 5. Skull pods. If the devil's tooth fungus isn't the kind of thing you want in your garden, you might want to give the snapdragon a try. These flowers are extremely popular. Named for the flower's shape, which looks like a dragon's head, the flower looks even more unique after it blooms, and when you squeeze the sides of the flower, you can make the dragon's mouth open. When the petals wilt and fall away, you are left with the remaining seed pods. When they dry out, they look alarmingly like a tiny skull. It has been said that ancient cultures believed the appearance of the skull illustrated supernatural powers within the snapdragon, and it was believed that by planting them in your garden, you would be safe from curses and the perils of witchcraft. Other superstitions associated with the snapdragon flower include using the plant in anti-aging potions to restore youthfulness and beauty, being particularly potent when eaten. They aren't toxic, so don't worry. Whether you believe in such stories or not, you can't deny the enchanting and bewitching qualities add an air of intrigue to the plant and its pods. Number 4. The trees of Slope Point. On the southernmost tip of an island in New Zealand, strong air currents batter the shoreline, so it's no surprise that the land takes a particularly brutal beating. However, nature has learned to adapt, and one of the more curious results are the trees found on Slope Point. Trees on the southernmost point of South Island have taken on a distinctively windswept look, with the roots and branches perpetually warped and twisted against the current. Originally planted by the island's farmers decades ago, the trees were a spot for their animals to find shelter from the harsh climate. But as the trees were continually battered by the winds, they grew tilting north as a way to remain rooted against the southern gales blasting them day after day. Fewer than 60 people live on the island, and there is no road, and a steep cliff descending to the sea offers no shelter from the relentless Antarctic winds. However, if you are adventurous and don't mind being blown sideways by cold air, there is a farmhouse for backpackers to rest and recover after a long day spent trudging along the rugged Catlins coast. Number 3. Petrified Lightning. Nature is beautiful, but it can be equally as violent, and the powerful forces are none more evident than the effect achieved when lightning strikes sand. After lightning storms, strange tubes with jagged edges can sometimes be found on beaches, in dunes, or on mountaintops. These stone-type formations are the after-effects of when lightning strikes the sand and melts the silica or minerals within. White-hot lightning bolts measure up to 50,000 degrees Fahrenheit. When they hit the ground, the energy splinters when it comes into contact with the sand, melting it, unfusing it, or petrifying it into jagged formations that are hollow in the middle. The color of fulgurite changes depending on the type of sand struck, but colors range from yellow, red, white, and gray. Although most people might see gnarled, knobby, cement-looking structures, a result of the sand particles clinging to the fulgurite, inside they are clear, sleek, and glass-like. Remember, like from the movie Sweet Home Alabama? A result of the powerful forces of nature colliding, fulgurite is the true definition of a buried treasure that most people might overlook. So the next time you're strolling along the beach after a violent lightning storm, cast your eyes downward. You may just find a little remnant of nature's fury and a beautiful reminder of her awesome power. Number 2. Algal Blooms. Not all of nature's fascinating finds are on land. Look no further than the ocean to discover amazing and mysterious natural wonders, including ones that turn the water an eerie blue-green once the sun goes down. Known as algal blooms, the neon blue hue occurs when blooms of bioluminescent algae are disturbed, such as when waves crash ashore. Just last year, in May 2018, a 15-mile stretch of the California coast was glowing a bright blue at night. The algae gets its name from the reddish hue seen during the day. They are actually like tiny little plants, and when they have enough nutrients, light, and heat, the red algae thrive and explode, creating massive blooms. Fascinating as it sounds, the tiny organisms are even more intriguing at night. When a wave, a passing fish, or even a human or a kayak comes into contact with them, the algae release a quick flash of bright blue light, creating an ethereal glow in the water. One theory is that the algae produce this light as a way to ward off predators, but back in the 17th century, when a bloom appeared off Mosquito Bay in Puerto Rico, Spanish settlers believed the phenomena to be the work of the devil. While it may be pretty, these red tides can cause massive amounts of marine deaths. Many lakes have similar algae, but not all of them have the bioluminescent properties of the red tide. Even still, this type of neon blue algae can be found throughout the United States, in the Caribbean, and Europe, offering spectators and nature lovers alike the opportunity to experience one of nature's most vibrant and eerie wonders. Number 1. Blood Falls, Antarctica. Discovered in Antarctica in the early 1900s, Blood Falls is very unexpected. When explorers found that a river had stained a cliff with a dark red substance, they at first believed it was the result of a type of algae. But scientists at the University of Alaska Fairbanks did a little detective work and discovered the source of the red water was coming from deep below the icy surface. Beneath the Taylor Glacier in Antarctica, located in the McMurdo Dry Valleys, a lake was discovered trapped beneath a thick layer of ice millions of years ago. Rich deposits of oxidized iron from the underlying bedrock reacted with the briny saltwater, but remained hidden. When a fissure formed, allowing the iron-rich saltwater to escape, its contact with oxygen turned the water a deep red coloring and resulted in the stunning sight that gave Blood Falls its name. When researchers did further studies, they calculated the process took 1.5 billion years for the brine saltwater to reach the fissure at Blood Falls. The glacier itself is approximately 46 miles long and descends for just over 1 mile, while the waterfall is almost 50 feet wide and plunges an additional 50 feet into a rust-colored icy pool below. Within the water, tiny microbes somehow survive without light and oxygen, showing that even in the harshest conditions, natural elements can survive and thrive. The discovery of these types of organisms living in extreme conditions makes you wonder about the possibility that similar conditions on faraway planets could also support life. There is definitely more to nature than what we see on the Earth's surface. Thanks for watching! Nature is full of surprises! Be sure to subscribe before you leave, and I'll see you soon. Bye!